What a move by Howie Roseman! Whoa! Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here, King Dingbat there. So, the wild card weekend is upon us. The NFL wild card weekend with some really interesting matchups, and I wanted to give you my predictions on those today. I wanted to talk to you about what I think is going to happen and who I think the Eagles will play and who I'm kind of scared that they may play. But before I start, I just have to make sure one thing here. Let me see. You Eagle fans out there. You okay? Are you alright? You guys, I see a lot of fighting amongst each others out there. What is going on? What was going on? I go to live stream last night. Some dude's pissed off yelling that people don't have the right to tell him he's not an Eagle fan because he thinks they're going to go one and done. Then I go to another one, and another guy's saying. Then I hear some other guy saying how guys that think they're going to go one and done, they shouldn't watch, or they shouldn't concern themselves with the Eagles because they're not a true fan. What the hell's going on? Let me say this, because I have to put my 2 cents in, because I think this is crazy. If you think the Eagles are going to go one and done, if you think they're going to go one and done because you watched Nick Foles stink it up for a few weeks, and you looked and saw how bad this team was without Carson Wentz, I can't blame you. I don't blame you at all. And you are just as much as a real fan as everybody who chooses to believe and have faith. Have faith. You're just as good, just as valid, and just as real, and just as committed as any other fan out there who thinks that they're going to win the whole thing. It doesn't matter if you think they're going to win or lose. The point is that come Sunday or when they play, you're going to all come together and root for them. That's going to happen. So when I hear guys get negative on the Eagles, they have reasons to be. Nick Foles has stunk. Okay? Now, me personally, I still think the Eagles are going to pull this off. Now, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe. It is totally possible. I do not discount that. But I think the home field this time of year, with, you know, how emotional and how jacked up the crowd and the team will be, that's going to carry them through. I believe that. But if the Eagles face off against the Saints next week, let's say, today I couldn't tell you that I think the Eagles are going to win. I'm not sure how I'm going to pick that game. I want to watch the Saints game. But if they play the Falcons or Carolina, I feel pretty good about it. The Saints worry the crap out of me. But I can't believe the things I hear. Eagle fans are not real because they are negative. Do you realize that most older fans are negative when it comes to Eagle fans? Most Eagle fans, especially the older generation, are negative. They're pessimistic. They've been jaded. They've had their hearts ripped out. They know what they feel and they know what they're talking about in a lot of ways because they've experienced it. The younger generation has more hope. They have more faith. They haven't been through those heart-wrenching moments. But both views are valid. Both fans are real fans. They're all real fans because on Sunday they're going to come and bleed together. We're going to win together, we're going to lose together, and that's it. I don't know what's going to happen. Personally, I think the Eagles are going to find a way to get to the bowl. But, like I said, I may be wrong. If I'm picking today, the Saints-Eagles tomorrow, if I'm picking that game today or tomorrow, I don't know who I'm picking. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick the Eagles to beat the Saints next week. I'm not sure. That's a scary game for me. Carolina, Atlanta, easy. So, in the end, all Eagle fans, no matter what you think, you believe we can win, we can lose, I'm with you. I think you should be able to think whatever you want without feeling like somebody's trying to take your fan card away or anything like that. Not here, not on this channel. Everybody's opinion is valid and respected. So now that King Dingbat has given you his 2 cents, even though nobody asked for it, I want to talk about the wild card weekend games. I want to get into these games and give you my prediction on what I think happens this weekend. Now, the first game I want to start with is the Tennessee Titans at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Titans, really offensively, they're not that great. Mariota had a horrendous year. I think he had 13 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, something like that. Really bad year, especially after the year he had last year where he had like 26 touchdowns. I don't know what happened to him. I really thought more of him coming out of college. I thought he was going to be better than that. I don't know if it's just a bad year or what. But going in to Kansas City, which is really, really hard place to play. Really hard. Especially in the playoffs. That place is going to be rocking. Rocking. Then you have weapons like Kelsey, Hunt, Tyreek Hill. I mean, too many weapons. Alex Smith will get the job done. And the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion, this is not even going to be close, I think. I think they're going to blow out the Tennessee Titans. So I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the second game is an NFC game later that night. I believe it's the Falcons and the Rams. This game may be the best game of the weekend, no doubt about it. I think it's going to be either this one or the Panthers Saints. But I think this is going to be a fantastic game. Now, it really depends on what Atlanta team shows up. Atlanta has struggled all year, but you know, on that roster, throughout that roster, they're loaded with talent. They got talent. They're able to score on anybody if they're hitting on all cylinders. And I think the Atlanta Falcons are a very interesting team. The thing about them is that they're not consistent. They haven't been consistent all year. So I don't know if they can start. I don't know what kind of home field advantage the Rams really have in LA. It's going to be very interesting. Is it so loud? Is it going to affect the Falcons a lot? I don't know. But when you look at the Rams, and you look at, in my opinion, Coach of the Year, Sean McVay, Todd Gurley, Goff, and all that they've done all year, I think this is a solid team, both sides of the ball. And I think, in the end, the Rams will be consistent. They've been consistent all year. And I think they're going to be up first playoff game in LA in a long time. And I think that they're going to beat Atlanta. I do think this is going to be a thrilling game. I think it's going to be close. And I think that it's going to be very entertaining. But I like the Rams to beat the Falcons in, at home. I like them to win at home. So that's 2 home wins on Saturday night, I guess. Now we get into Sunday. Now we're going to get to the next AFC game. The Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is 2 teams that have not been in the playoffs in a long time. Now, I said earlier in the year, Jacksonville was my big sleeper team. I thought with getting Fournette, being able to become a run offense, I thought they had a pretty good defense, had a lot of talent on defense. They could be a playoff team, and they were. I thought they would get in as like a wild card, and they won their division, so congratulations to them. Then you have Buffalo, who hasn't been there in a long time either. And the great thing about the Buffalo team was, did you see them in the locker room celebrating when they found out they were going to get in? I guess they were watching that Cincinnati and the Ravens game. That was awesome. That was classic. That was something you love to see. So both teams are going to be very excited to get into the playoffs. Now, for Buffalo, they got to go to Jacksonville. Now, this hurts because you would like to play at home in that cold weather in Buffalo. It would be advantage for them. Playing Jacksonville, in Jacksonville, who I think has the best defense. I think they're the best defense in the league. I think Buffalo, with a hurt LaShawn McCoy, is going to have a problem moving the ball, scoring on Jacksonville. And I'm curious to see how Blake Bortles plays and handles a playoff game. He's had a few good weeks a couple weeks ago. Then he had a few, off weeks. He's kind of up and down. I want to see what he does in the playoffs. But I think Jacksonville, with their defense, can be a very, very tough team to beat in the playoffs. I think they could do damage in the AFC. I really do. So I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to beat the Buffalo Bills. And you know, look, McCoy's not 100%, and I just don't see how Buffalo's going to go in there and beat them without McCoy at 100%. So I like the Jaguars to beat Buffalo, but I'm happy for Buffalo. I'm happy that Jacksonville and both had teams in the playoffs. It's nice to see other teams get in besides the ones that always do. So I got Jacksonville beating Buffalo. Then that takes us to the last game of the night. Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. Now we've picked 3 home teams so far. Carolina has lost to the Saints twice. New Orleans is a hard place to play, although I think Carolina has a good record in New Orleans. But the Saints have beat Carolina twice. They beat them both times. I think they scored over 30 points, 30 or more points. So how does Carolina possibly go into New Orleans, play Drew Brees, Kamara, that running game? How are you going to deal with it? And the Saints have a good defense on top of it. So you would think Carolina is in a bad position. They've lost twice to them. They got to go to New Orleans. Drew Brees, Kamara. The Saints are probably a more talented team on paper than Carolina. But Carolina doesn't have a slouch at quarterback either. They do have Cam Newton. Now Cam Newton could be streaky. 1 week great, a couple weeks great, a couple weeks bad. I know he's up and down. But when Cam Newton is on, he's great. He's fabulous. He could be MVP, Super Bowl type quarterback. He's been there. He's done it before. So it's not going to be a super big moment for Cam Newton. He's been there. He's done it. And to go and beat a team 3 times in a year is very, very hard. Now, as an Eagle fan, it would help the Eagles if they didn't have to play the Saints. No doubt about it. And does that come into my pick? Possibly. But I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers in the humongous upset over the New Orleans Saints, because I just think beating a team 3 times in a year is really hard. I think Carolina is an interdivisional rivalry with the Saints, and they've lost 2 times where that defense has given 30 plus points, 30 or more points. They're going to have something to prove, and I'm going to take the Panthers in a giant upset against the Saints. Now, I may be wrong. Maybe that's what I secretly want, which I do. But I still think it's going to happen, because I still think beating a team 3 times in 1 year is really tough in the NFL. So those are my picks. I hope we all look forward to the game. Please go to my Twitter, also at YoPhilly500. Vote which game you'd like me to stream. I think the Rams-Falcons is slightly ahead of the Panthers-Saints. So I think there's like another day left on that. Please vote. With that said, I hope everybody has a good day. Take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.